Namaste. Salutations to all those of you, to my gremlins, to anyone who is in regards to watching this video in particular, and all throughout my existence. I have always been who I am as my own individual, as a human being, and to have traded myself to sacrifice, or to have surrendered myself towards the bending wheel in the shadows of darkness, or the obstacles that happens to arise, as it is inevitable, as it is always going to be a part of our existence until the end of time. And for myself to have laced myself into the coexistence of the light of positive energies within human nature is one in which that is inevitable towards the afflictions of myself, considering in how I will always breathe and exhale and through my lungs, through the corridors of my spiritual fire, of my spirit in itself. To have coexisted myself into the light of everything, of all the positives in human existence, and to have surrendered myself of my individuality for anything else in the world is something that will never happen in this existence for as long as I should live, for as long as there is a single breath that courses throughout the veins and blood of this body in itself. And to have changed the world itself, to reverse the oceans in the darkness of the world, is not only impossible as it is inevitable. So I have a complete faith that together, for you the viewers, including myself, and on behalf of Jen as well, that we will have accomplished this vision to change the world for the positive. To have changed the world for the positive is all that we could afford. And to have believed in ourselves is one in which that is most vital in accordance to the sands of time towards the existence of the light of ourselves as human beings. And we cannot surrender at whatever cost in the world upon the light of the world. And you simply have to be someone of an individual to not only express yourself, but to feel the gratification of freedom that is uplifted from your lungs, from the core and the values of the depths of your spiritual fire for who you are as a human being, and to have projected outwards into the world for a positive insight of knowledge, of courage, of faith, of positive energies, of an influence for only the positives, and to have manifested and harvested ourselves from the inside out for everything of who we are as human beings. You know, we should all live according to a prosperity of a positive insight, and of positive energies is derived from our responsibilities as human beings. And who are we as human beings if we cannot share the covalent bonds of our relationship within one another as human beings? And as I said myself, I live a straight edge lifestyle. I live organic and natural. I absolutely admire and practice upon meditation, astral projection. I love nature itself. I love the openness of the air, of the surrounding of everything around me. I admire and adore all that is positive as a part of life itself. And to have subjected myself to a peaceful, simple lifestyle, I do not necessarily enjoy technology. The only purpose as to why I decide to use it for is to reach my message across the world, and to have reached out to impact another individual's life, or to take that person or that particular individual, that person or that human being, and to change his or her life for the positive. Art in itself is something in which all of us as a collective within the consciousness of this infinite universe, the vastness of our human nature, we are able to come together to agree upon. We embrace and harvest the aesthetics and beauty and the perfections of art itself. And art has a way or a tendency to bind us together as human beings, as it shares and cultivates knowledge of cultures. And this is this main purpose and intention of why I create videos, of why I had decided to written the publication of my new release book and cosplay, little magazine that I had done, that I conducted. And everything that I have ever done, everything that I will ever do in the future, it is all derived from a purpose, a greater, more meaningful purpose than above myself. And this purpose itself is to share the oneness, the equilateral equilibrium embrace throughout the world, to have changed the world for the positive. And even if I am not successful to change the entire circumference, the 360 circumference, the degree of the world itself, I will have at least impacted half the world itself. As long as I had invested within myself to have been someone who had tried and someone who devoted every moment of my time, every moment while I breathe the air and I am alive, I share with the world a positive insight, a positive influence. And for those of you who do not know me, I welcome you with open arms. And this is who I am as an individual. This is who I am as a human being. This is who I am and who I will forever be until the withering in the darkness and the sands of time, or the end of existence as the humanity is concerned. So, I hope that throughout the duration of time, in sharing your relationship with me, with myself and Genevieve, that may we have shared with you a positive light of knowledge, of truth, of infinite, the vastness of the universe, and of a positive light of energies. And that's all that is our purpose. We could, honest to God, care less of the fame and glory perspectives of the human nature and materialistic possessions of the world. Money, fame, basically fame and glory, and incorporates all and encompasses both the same together. Honest to God, we could care less for any of that in the world itself. As I expressed to you from the veins of my heart, the airways of my mind, and the blood that courses throughout the veins of the bones within, or the marrows within his body itself, and of the spiritual fire, and of my lungs. The positive light of energies exists in my lungs. And what I had expressed to you was not to paint a pretty face or pretty portrait of myself, and just because I stand in front of a camera. No, the truth of it is that I have expressed myself to have clarified myself for those of you who may not have known who I personally am. So with that being said, I hope that throughout the duration of time of being friends with me, that obviously, of course, you would have been inspired in your life, of your human existence. Share this valued circle in our friendships of brotherhood and sisterhood of those of you who continue to harvest positive influences through me. So thank you for everything. So if you have not yet received or have purchased a copy of my book, I strongly recommend that you do so for yourselves. And this book itself was just something to test the waters. It was merely an introductory. It was something that I believe, will have made necessary and valid preparations upon my second book that is currently in production, that I'm writing right now. My second book is by far the deepest thing, the deepest, most meaningful perspective of anything I had ever written before in my entire existence, my human existence. And this second book of mine will have helped journey into the guidance of the mind itself, of my particular brain itself. And what I had shared with each and every one of you for my near-death encounter, as well as how I had traveled throughout the infinite universes that exist within ourselves as human beings. I am not quite sure if that makes any valid sense to anyone or not. However, within the second book, you will have revealed it and have discovered it for yourselves. And farther, you will have understood of what it is upon what I speak of within the contents of the second book. So, inevitably and ultimately, you will have to obviously wait for the second book to unearth, to discover, to understand, to farther comprehend in what I speak of. Embraced in a self-discovery of self-acceptance in a journey of your existences, that should you have discovered the awakening of your spiritual fire, the discovery of the hidden doors and gateways of your mind, of your consciousness, of your spirit, of your body, of everything that is derived as a part of our human nature. And this is all explained within the contents of my first book. Then again, my production, the production of my second book itself will have incorporated so much more in the keys, in the skeleton key, and how to discover ourselves as human beings, and the secret doors and the gateways in which I speak upon. However, the vital perspective is how to embrace yourselves for your characteristics, your personality, and for being a social outcast, much like myself. You see, I'm a male myself who has a goatee, a beard. I dress differently than everyone else. I have my own accordance for my own fashionable perspectives in which I dress as myself. So with that being said, I do not cosplay as anything. I am my own individual, and I am a male who obviously has long hair, which strikes a chord against, in opposition of, the status quo that is established within society or humanity, modern perspectives of the world, if you will. So, inevitably, I cannot meet the absolute perfection of expectations in accordance to all human beings, to all people equally. And consequently, through that perspective, I am not everyone's favorable cup of tea. However, I have striking resemblance towards the positive energies that binds who I am as my own individual, of my own characteristics. And I share this with others, never for the negatives and only for the positives. With that being said, it's one of those things that has to be narrowed down towards whether if you are someone who accepts me for who I am, or you do not. And if you do not, then I truly pray for you. I cannot perceive how anyone would not like me, considering of how in everything I do and say for the majority aspect, is only derived from the positive. I have my imperfections. I am an imperfect human being as myself, and as should all humans, as should all people equally, considering that no one is perfect in life, and everyone shares our weaknesses, our flaws, our imperfections, our sins, our imbalance. And this is exactly what the yin and yang philosophy of mind that I journey throughout life itself. It's with this philosophy, the balance of opposites. You have to be the one in order to have overcome or rise above in the visions of our victory. And together we will have accomplished even the impossible or the inevitable. United we stand, divided we fall. So in essence, together we stand against the oceans of time, against the oceans of darkness, the sands of the darkness that spills from our hands into the soils of the earth itself. We cannot accomplish or achieve anything on our own. It's not possible. So let's begin. So let us engage in a campaign for a positive change, a real an actual metamorphic perspective of change, a metamorphosis of transcendence, an awakening within ourselves. And believe it or not, we need each other's support as best as possible. So I hope that you had enjoyed watching this video, and namaste. Thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video. I hope that this had inspired you for the positive. And believe you me, everything that I do, it all revolves around the positive benefit of all of us together as a humanity, as a society. And for us to obviously benefit only from the positives from one another. From myself, from Jen, from each of you who support this cause, that support our aspiration together, our journey of life, our consciousness, our collectives of our goals and dream together. And it's not so much of a dream, it is actuality of reality, to where anything that we apply our minds towards, it is possible, whether if you believe it or not. So only invest yourselves in the responsibility of the positives of life itself and of your individuality. You have so much values within yourselves that you have absolutely no idea of, and you have not yet unveiled or unearthed or have discovered the inner gateways of our consciousness. As for myself, it had required a near-death encounter upon several occasions. It had required an entire almost 25 or 26 years of my human existence in order to have unveiled this. So, thank you everyone for all your positive support. And I have spoken a lot, so farewell each and every one of you. I hope to see each and every one of you soon, to meet every one of you as much as possible for the amazing Arizona Comic Convention. In addition, we have several other events coming up, and my 26th birthday celebration as of this month. So, see you then.